Hi, I'm Azura. Some of you might know I've set a few speedrun records in the past for jumping puzzles in Final Fantasy XIV. Sadly, the only record that I haven't held at some point was last year's Moonfire Boat, so I've been feeling quite purposeless and bored for a while. That is until my friend Kiya, who is a fellow Kugane speedrunner, showed me something from another game that caught my attention and encouraged me to give it a try. I was a bit reluctant at first, but after seeing him strive to beat the record and getting close, it inspired me to give it a try myself. In this video, I'm going to show you how I would go about setting a new speedrun world record, hypothetically speaking, of course. In this case, the challenge was already predetermined, but if I were to outline some criteria to pick an easy record to target, it would be something like this. First of all, it should be low effort, so you want something that is up to a minute in length and that doesn't require you to learn a bunch of different tricks. Anything that has a compatible skill set to your current ones is a good option. Then you want something that not a lot of people are trying to do in order to minimize competition. If something is extremely niche and has a bunch of different categories, that's probably a good option. And finally, you want something that doesn't require a lot of skill, so anything to do with extreme precision or crazy reaction time requirements is out the window. I think those are the most important factors to make your life easy, but there are optional factors that might be worth considering as well. Novelty, so if it's something that just came out and not many people have attempted yet, you probably have a good chance there because people haven't had time to get good yet. Then you want something fun that you can enjoy so that you can stay motivated and not give up. And finally, something that gives you a sense of accomplishment. This is a bit subjective, so as long as you can be proud of what you accomplished, that's good enough. So with all that said, let's take a look at what we're dealing with.
In position and standing by.
Wait, what? This doesn't look quite right. It reminds me of Final Fantasy XIV. The critically acclaimed MMORPG with an expanded free trial which you can play through the entirety of the Realm Reborn, the award-winning Heaven's Sword and Thrilling Stormlight expansions up to level 70 for free with no restrictions on playtime. Anyway, something's wrong. This is not opening. Let me try to restart. Okay, now it worked. Let's take a look at the normal run first. The goal here is to complete a few runs by following the intended path so we can get used to the controls before moving on to optimization. In this case I had a bit of an advantage because I had already seen a friend speedrun this multiple times, so don't feel bad if you struggle to complete runs at first, it's normal. Once we have the basics down, the next step would be to spend a few hours experimenting with the map's geometry, try to find a way to skip things. Depending on who you ask, this can be a fun or frustrating process. In this case though, my friends had already developed what I think are the best strategies, so I simply copied them. So at this point I had a run that was about a second slower than the fastest run I could find. Unfortunately, it seemed like the best strategy required a very precise trick that I wasn't sure I would be able to pull off. Luckily, not long after this, it was brought to my attention that someone had achieved a 30-second run. I had no idea how that would be possible, so I decided to experiment a bit myself to try to find some big skip that I wasn't aware of. I was able to find something, but it ultimately didn't help with saving any time. So in the end I had to check the video myself, and then I saw that people were breaking out of bounds early on in the level, which allowed them to follow a mostly straightforward path, avoiding all the complicated stuff. At first I didn't like the idea of going out of bounds because I prefer to rely on a skill in order to get records, rather than use game-breaking tricks. But after giving it a try out of curiosity, I realized that the out-of-bounds route was a lot easier than the normal one, and I probably had a decent chance to get the record. The thing is, I've never had a world record in any other game besides Final Fantasy XIV, so it's something that I wanted to pursue at some point, to prove to myself that maybe I'm not a one-trick pony, and this was the perfect opportunity. So, after spending around 20 hours grinding runs, slowly getting closer and closer to the target time, I finally got lucky and was able to get a run that felt close to perfect. And to my surprise, when I checked the time, I saw that I had finally managed to beat the record by 100 milliseconds. I felt that this was a great run that would not be easy to beat, but as luck would have it, just 8 hours after getting the run approved on speedrun.com, the guy that I had beaten uploaded a better run, also saving exactly 100 milliseconds compared to my run. After checking his improved run, I did what any reasonable person would do, and decided to give up. Is what I would say if this were an April Fool's video, which it surely isn't. So yeah, in the end I couldn't accept the loss, and I did my best to try to improve the run some more, resulting in yet another record, this time by a single fucking frame. And that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I wanted to try something a little different for once. I kinda had to rush this whole thing last minute as usual, because April Fool's was coming up and I didn't really have time to make proper preparations. I spent way too much time grinding, and then I didn't realize how hard it would be to record the voiced parts. But given the time constraints, I think it turned out somewhat okay. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments. Bye!